Stacy, let's start with House Bill 222.
Okay. House Bill 222, County Boards of Education, Opioid Overdose Reversing Medications, Policy Requirements, the Naloxone Access Act. This bill requires each local board of education to expand authorization to possess and administer naloxone or other opioid overdose reversing medications to include a high school student who has received training on the appropriate use of such medication. Additionally, the bill extends an exemption from liability for such high school students who respond in good faith to an overdose emergency of a student. A local board of education's policy on the use of naloxone or other opioid overdose reversing medications may include a record of students who intend to possess such medications and whether those students have received appropriate training. The bill also repeals language limiting the scope of local board policies to apply to opioid overdose reversing medication administered to an individual located on school property. There's one set of amendments in your package, and they're the first ones. Several of the individuals who testified discussed, and including MSDE, about striking references to other opioid overdose reversing medications on the theory that naloxone is well known. The state has training in place for that particular medication. And so the amendments would just strike other opioid overdose reversing medications, but that's the decision of this committee.
Strike it?
Strike it. So this legislation adds it, and MSD and others, including, I believe, the sponsor, who seem to be on board with that, but that's a decision of the committee.
Senator Carrozza?
So there are other opioid overdose reversing medications.
Yes.
Besides
Naloxone, yes.
I mean, the title kind of explains it, doesn't it? I mean, opioid overdose reversing I mean, if you didn't know what naloxone was or is, but you read the original title, you would know the purpose of the medication, right?
Again, the thought being that there's already a lot of training in place for naloxone specifically, because state law, especially in the public health article, had specifically set up a program for naloxone, not all the types of medications that were out there. This bill, broadens the universe by allowing that, and I'm just saying the testimony, including MSD, was that there's existing training about naloxone. It's well known how to use it, how to administer it, and it was their preference that it remain just naloxone, but that's the decision of the committee.
Okay, Vice Chair Kagan.
Thank you. So I'm texting with the sponsor of the bill, and I also see Special Secretary Keller in the room. Your expertise could be valuable. Do you have thoughts? Is it okay, Mr. Chair?
Sure. Come on up here.
Secretary Keller.
And really, right now, we just have this amendment. We have to, figure out if we want to accept the amendment or not at this late date.
Thank you. Good afternoon, committee. So this just removes...
Madam Secretary, will you introduce yourself formally, please?
I'm sorry. My name is Emily Keller. I'm the Special Secretary of Overdose Response with Maryland's Office of Overdose Response. We were one of the groups that proposed this amendment. So naloxone, also sometimes known as the brand name Narcan, is the most commonly used opioid reversal medication. It's the one that's in our standing order here in Maryland. There are other reversal medications that aren't as well known, so we are just proposing that we leave it as naloxone, since that is the most trained and most widely known product.
Okay, any questions for Secretary Keller?
I have a...
Yes, Vice Chair Kagan, and then, okay, Senator Carrozza, then Vice Chair Kagan.
So I appreciate that, because I actually have gone to some of these trainings, and they will allow, they will give you, if you're in the public a lot, they'll give you a supply. So if you're in, if you happen to be on hand, like if I were on the boardwalk somewhere, so I understand that, and you're right, it is naloxone or Narcan that that they distribute. I guess what I'm trying to understand is that is it kind of a state of Maryland directive that it's that's what we're using? I'm just trying to understand that. I understand the purpose of the amendment better now, but I just want to understand if that directive's coming at, the state level?
We do have a standing order. Our overdose response programs do administer the naloxone. So when you attend a training through one of our sponsored overdose programs, you are given naloxone
And that directive's coming from which, from your,
from the state of Maryland,
from your organization?
in Maryland Department of Health.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, Vice Chair Kagan?
So I sometimes worry about just pointing in one direction. So if down the road, a couple of years, there's another drug that's more effective, less expensive, easier to use, presumably we'd have to come back and modify this legislation?
Yes, you would. And there have been other products that have been introduced. Some of them have a stronger milligram, which a lot of the harm reduction organizations are actually cautioning against because it can cause precipitated withdrawal. So right now, naloxone is just kind of the standard
Okay.
across the board.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you, Madam
Okay, and I'll
Secretary.
just inject, I'm going to channel my inner Ben, interject my inner Kramer. Can we make a change to the bill? May have an effect on, I'll have to explain the timeline here, but that's, okay, so, yes, Vice Chair Kagan.
So,
what do you-
correct me if I'm wrong, if we take this amendment, strip or other overdose reversing medications, Stacy, it would go to second reader and third reader on the floor, possibly together. It would go back to the House, and presumably the House would recede and be done, correct? So I don't think that's that heavy a lift between now and
Okay,
midnight
that's
if it's
fine.
good policy.
Well, okay, so we have, okay, just restate the amendment that have to contemplate, just so everybody understands.
So the amendment just strikes all the references to other opioid overdose reversing medications, which is a mouthful.
Okay, so the Vice Chair has moved that amendment. Is there a second? Second. Okay, a second from Senator Harris.
Yes.
Correct, okay. Okay, any other discussion about this amendment? Okay, all in favor of the amendment, raise your hand. Anybody opposed? Okay, motion carries. HB 222 as amended is in front of us. Discussion, all in favor of 222 as amended, raise your hand. Anybody opposed? Okay, motion carries. Okay, and thank you, Madam Secretary, for your input. House Bill 326, Stacy?
Okay. House Bill 326, Education Maryland Center for School Safety Anonymous Reporting System. This bill requires the Maryland Center for School Safety to develop and administer an anonymous reporting system that coordinates the receipt of information relating to a school or student safety concern in a manner that maintains confidentiality and provides a mechanism for any reported information to be forwarded to school or other appropriate officials. A custodian of public records under the Maryland Public Information Act must deny inspection of any information or materials related to the anonymous reporting system. There are no amendments.
Okay, Senator Harris moves the bill. Is there a second? Second from Senator Brooks. Discussion, House Bill 326 clean. All in favor, raise your hand. All opposed, motion carries. Okay, House Bill 1311, which is a gift to us from the JPR committee. They were primary. Stacy?
House Bill 1311, Higher Education Student Financial Assistance for Incarcerated Individuals Alterations. This bill requires the Department of Public Safety and Correctional Services to assist incarcerated individuals in accessing state student financial assistance in addition to current law requirements for the department to assist incarcerated individuals in accessing federal Pell Grants. In providing assistance, the bill requires the Department of Corrections to consult with the Maryland Higher Education Commission, in addition to current law requirements, to consult with specified institutions of higher education. The bill also codifies the eligibility of incarcerated individuals who meet eligibility requirements for state student financial assistance to have such assistance available. There are no amendments. There was no opposition, and JPR voted 9-1-1.
911.
Just passed a minute ago in the House.
Okay, Senator Harris moves the bill, House Bill 1311 from JPR. Is there a second? Second. Second from Senator Brooks. Okay, all in favor of House Bill 1311, raise your hand. All opposed? We've got Gallion, Carosa, and Simon Air in the no column. Motion carries. Okay, final bill, House Bill 1341. Stacy, this has to go over to JPR still.
No, it does not. So
Okay.
you'll remember this bill, this committee voted out amendments that were supposed to be consensus amendments with the House. When the House moved the bill after this committee voted, they made a slight change to those amendments. So JPR added those amendments on, and that's what they're voting on. Essentially, the only change with this bill was that they changed the term judicial officer to be covered officer.
So we have it back with us.
Yes.
With that change. What was the vote, just so everybody remembers how they voted?
6-4-1 was the vote in JPR. I
Okay.
don't remember what the vote was in
See if you
EEE.
could just double check so people.
Sure.
No, this is a bill back, we sent it, JPR made this small change. We passed it 6 to, we don't know what the number was. 8 to 2 to 1. And then they made this change, so all we have back in front of us is what the JPR product. So that's all we're going to be voting on. It was 8-2-1 on the way to JPR. Okay, so it's just, okay, so Senator Harris moves the bill, House Bill 1341, as it's come back to us with that relatively small change. And then, is there a second? Second. Okay, second, Ken, from the vice chair. Discussion, questions? Okay, all in favor of House Bill 1341, raise your hand. All opposed? We've got Simon Air, Gallion, and Carosa. Okay, that motion carries. So that completes our voting list. We're going to next go take up some concurrences or not concurrences, depending on the will of the body, the committee. Here, Devin, why don't we start with you, if you don't mind? Well, actually, how many do you have, Stacy?
In front of me, I have 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, here, let's start with Stacy, and we're going to end with Devin. Okay, so Stacy, give us your 4.
House Bill 1259, zoning authorities, operation of family child care homes, prohibition and requirements. In general, this bill specifies that a local jurisdiction, by local ordinance, resolution, or law, may not deny or restrict the operation of a family child care home or large family child care home that meets the licensing requirements established by MSDE and must designate the operation of such child care homes as residential activity and a permitted use under the residential zoning requirements. The Senate amendments added a distance condition of 0.25 miles between permitted family child care homes and large family child care homes in residential areas. The request was to recede from these amendments. As Senator Kagan knows, there's been some back and forth with ECM, which is the House committee that is doing this. So the recommendation would be to not recede and appoint a conference committee.
Okay, you want to make that motion? Vice Chair Kagan? Okay. You want to, okay. She moves not to recede. Second from Senator question? Okay, Senator Harris. Okay, we'll take question. Okay, now a question from Senator Washington.
So again, the requiring a distance for these facilities is actually sort of more restrictive than we even do for like liquor licenses. So I just would like to understand why we wouldn't recede if that's the only point. And I'm here to hear it. I was wondering if the vice chair, is there a reason why we don't?
I apologize. Multitasking and shouldn't be. Say it again, please.
No, I want to understand why we wouldn't recede. It's a very, I think it's a very important, it's MACO, which is fine, but, you know, we just passed the bill to really make sure we're removing barriers, you know, for these facilities, these childcare facilities, and, you know, this amendment does limit. So I'm likely to vote against the motion to not recede, but I'd like to understand why are we doing that?
The concern was that it removed all of the authority from locals and municipalities and counties to set their own decisions about residential zoning. And the concern was that if you had too many family child care homes clustered in a small area, there would be parking, play area concerns, and other concerns, because it's residential areas. That was what MACO and MML were concerned about, and that is the reason that that amendment was offered and taken.
Well, if I could, the way I read it, we have no ability to remove all zoning. So the buildings will be zoned like any other business, and we don't currently, we have a deficit of childcare facilities. It's not yet the issue that there is, I would like us to regulate drug treatment, outpatient drug treatment facilities. We can't do that, but, these are needed, and yeah, these are needed, and putting a requirement with the argument that we have totally usurped local zoning, I don't see where the bill does that. I'd be interested in seeing where the bill does that, but we don't have that ability to do that in this bill.
Anybody else want to weigh in? Okay, at this point, we have a motion to receive. Do you have any more information before we make it?
I'd like to withdraw my motion
Okay,
to recede.
you want,
To not recede.
okay. Okay, so the senator has withdrawn her motion to not recede. Do you have a substitute motion, or you want to ponder this some more, or what do you want to do?
I think we should recede.
Okay. Okay, so we have a motion to recede now from the vice chair, second from Senator Washington. Any further discussion about the motion to recede? Okay, do you want to do a roll call, or everybody feel comfortable voting? All in favor of the motion to recede, raise your hand. All opposed? Okay, we've got Senator Carrozza opposes. Okay, that motion carries. Before we go back to you, Stacy, because we have one matter that has to go to finance still from Senator Simonera. Senate Bill 420? 242. I mean, I'm sorry, 242, I apologize. 242, is that the one? 242, do you have that?
Sure.
Okay, just, why don't you tell us?
Senate Bill 242, Modernizing Civil Relief for Service Members Act. This bill explicitly authorizes an active service member on active service or an active service member's spouse, who relocates to the state due to orders for service and holds a license issued by another state to practice under that license within Maryland if the individual submits an application including specified documentation and satisfies other criteria. The House amendments are technical. They deal with the position of lawyers and making sure that lawyers still need to abide by the rules of the Supreme Court of Maryland. And my recommendation is to concur in the House amendments.
Got a motion to concur from Simon Ayers, second from Senator Harris. Discussion, all in favor of the motion to concur, raise your hand. All opposed? Motion carries. Devin, you have one other one I know. Well, you have two, but let's leave that third one for last. Okay, is it 625?
Yes, sir. Senate Bill 625, Carbon Dioxide Capture, Removal, and Sequestration Projects, Regulations, and Standards. This bill requires the Maryland Department of the Environment by January 1, 2028 to adopt regulations and standards that govern the permitting of carbon dioxide capture, removal, or sequestration projects. The bill takes effect July 1, 2026. The House added language requiring the Maryland Department of the Environment to consult with the Maryland Department of Agriculture in the provisions of the putting together the regulations. I recommend to concur the House amendments.
Okay, we passed this unanimously. All they did was have this consultation amendment. Yeah, that's all they did. So we had is there a motion concur? Senator Harris, second. Senator Carrozza. All in favor of the motion concur, raise your hand. All opposed, motion carries. Back to you, Stacy.
Senate Bill 255, Voting Rights Act of 2026, Counties and Municipal Corporations. In general, this bill establishes a Voting Rights Act for counties and municipal corporations in the state. The House amendment amends the remedies for violations of law by authorizing a court to order the adoption of certain methods of voting without the consent of the relevant jurisdiction. The recommendation is to not concur.
Okay, we had a motion and a second, and a motion to not concur. Okay, any further discussion? All in favor of the motion to not concur, raise your hand. All opposed? Okay, motion carries. Okay, Stacy?
SB 141, election law, election misinformation, election disinformation, and deepfakes. In general, this bill prohibits the knowing or reckless creation, use, or dissemination of deepfakes to produce false information relating to elections. The House amendments make various changes to the enforcement provisions of the bill. The recommendation is to not concur.
Okay, we have a motion not to concur from the sponsor, the second from Senator Harris. All in favor of the motion to not concur, raise your hand. Opposed, motion carries. Stacy.
HB 14, County Boards of Education, bullying, harassment, or intimidation, information collection and reporting requirements. In general, this bill requires local school systems to include specified information in their annual report to the State Board of Education regarding the motivation for incidents of bullying, harassment, and intimidation that are determined to be motivated in whole or in part by the personal characteristics of the person being bullied. The Senate amendments strike the subjective circumstances under which a county board would have to report certain incidents of bullying, harassment, or intimidation and clarifies a requirement related to a certain form. I have no recommendation here. I think people were working on this issue.
Okay, Senator Tarr, I think you've had some back and forth with some folks, so.
That we send it for a conference committee. So we not recede and set up a conference committee.
Okay. All in favor of moving to not recede and appointing a conference committee, raise your hand. All opposed? Okay, that motion carries. Is that the
That's it
extent?
for now, yeah.
Okay. April?
Okay. Senate Bill 719, Sewage Sludge, Per and Polyfluoroalkyl Substances Regulation. This bill establishes prohibitions and restrictions related to the land application of sewage sludge that has a total concentration of regulated PFAS greater or equal to specified levels. The House amendments alter rules around the testing of commingled sewage sludge. The amendments conform the bill to House Bill 925 as it unanimously passed this committee. I would recommend concurring.
Okay, is there a motion to concur? Motion to concur? Okay, the vice chair moves to concur. Second from Senator Watson. All in favor, motion concur, raise your hand. Anybody opposed? Motion carries. April?
All right. Senate Bill 829, Residential and Commercial Zone Laws Study, the Bring Back Main Street Act. This bill requires the Department of Housing and Community Development to conduct a study of specified residential and commercial zone laws. The House amendments simply fix an error in the bill's purpose paragraph. Again, I would recommend concurring. The House amendments literally just, the word required was repeated. It fixes the
Senate Bill 829.
829, Senate Bill 829, sorry.
Okay, with any motion to concur on the one word adjustment? Move to concur from Senator Harris. All opposed? Second, Senator Tarr. All in favor of the motion concur, raise your hand. Anybody opposed? Okay, motion carries. April?
Okay, Senate Bill 189, Municipalities, Open Drainage Inlets, Required Grading Systems, Mason's Law. This bill requires municipalities to inventory, prioritize, and make improvements to open drainage inlets as specified. The House amendments to this one require in fiscal 29 through 31, MDE to annually allocate $250,000 of funding under the existing Comprehensive Flood Management Grant Program to be used for matching grants to municipalities for improvements to existing open drainage inlets. This was something that was sort of worked out with the budget committees in both houses. I know the bill sponsor would like us to concur on this.
Okay, Senator Harris moved to concur. Second from Senator Washington. All in favor of the motion concur, raise your hand. Opposed, motion carries. April?
Senate Bill 879, Baltimore City Natural Resources Archery Hunting Safety Zones. This bill decreases the archery hunting safety zone in Baltimore City from 150 yards to 50 yards. The House amendment struck language that would have excluded a certain legislative district from the bill. My understanding is that the Baltimore City senators have agreed to accept this change.
Okay,
To concur, we'll concur on this one.
we good? Okay. Is there a motion to concur from one of our two city senators? Motion, Okay, Senator Washington moves to concur. Is there a second from Senator Tar? All in favor of the motion to concur, raise your hand. All opposed? Okay, motion carries. April?
All right, last one, House Bill 1324. This is that same bill, but it's the House version. In order to keep the bills identical, the committee should recede from the Senate amendments.
Okay, do we have a motion to recede from Senator Washington, a second from Senator Tar? In favor of the motion to recede, raise your hand. All opposed? Okay, motion carries. We don't have anything on Mason's Law. I'm getting texted.
We just did Mason's Law.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
We're good.
I'm confused. Okay, we have one final, yes.
I'm in here.
Oh, okay.
Senate Bill 810, which is the cross-file to the House Bill, yes, that we just voted. So
Okay.
that there would be to concur, because it would be the same
Okay.
amendments if you're,
Got a motion to concur from Senator Harris, second from Senator Watson. All in favor of the motion to concur, raise your hand. All opposed, motion carries.
and there was Senator Hester's Artificial Intelligence Bill 720. This is the Artificial Intelligence Guidelines Professional Development Collaborative. They made a slight change to the DeWitt's responsibilities with regard to the lab. The senator would like to accept those amendments, and the recommendation would be to concur.
Okay, Senator Hester moves to concur, second from Senator Harris. All in favor of the motion to concur, raise your hand. All opposed, motion carries.
I'm looking here, hold on. They just all came in like, SB 904. This was Education, Public Schools, Professional Development. I know that the House amendments put on all the stuff that we took out in committee. So the recommendation would be to not concur on that.
Okay, motion not concur from the vice chair, second from Senator Harris. All in favor of the motion not concur, raise your hand.
I'm sorry, I'm blind, I can't see anything. 242. Is that?
Okay, while you're pondering that,
Yeah.
let's go, we do have one matter.
Yeah, that's Devin
we need to.
Sally.
Yes, Senator Washington.
See these bills for concurrence? No, just the concurrence, because I'm trying to write down the numbers that we concur. Is there on our floor system or anything? No? Okay.
Just no,
Okay, the answer
they
is
just
no.
coming in through emails.
Okay, all righty, thanks.
Okay, so here's the deal. We passed Sarah,
Or that one.
oh, I apologize. Go on.
Senate Bill 114-311, I just got the note and I don't have the actual bill in front of me. The House has amended it to add another person. Senator, I yield to the vice chair.
Devin, let's hold on to that for a minute. I appreciate it.
Yep.
Thank you.
Never
Okay,
mind.
we'll hold
So-
on for that for a minute. Stacy, you have any more before I go back to? No, go ahead. Okay, Devin, members, colleagues, one of our commemorative bills, I know that you all love these commemorative bills, and maybe you've already been loved. So we sent out Senator Jackson's Natural Museum History Bill. We have received back, Megalodon, and then also the Purple Lights bill, okay? It's domestic violence victims kind of thing. So maybe last year, if you recall, at 11:59, we had the Orange Crush bill attached to the Chromite bill at 11:59. I concur. So this is part of the back and forth. I was at press conference with with the governor and Senator President while we were on the floor, and I will just say Speaker Pena-Melnick, made a big pitch for the Troika bill here, but I'm not suggesting anything other than we have it in front of us. It's either a motion to not concur or a motion to concur, and we've heard all three of the bills. Senator Bailey is the sponsor of one, and actually, we had the House bill came over, and so we have heard all three bills, and we passed the one. So give me some feedback, and then we. Okay. Okay, we have a motion to concur from Senator Harris. We're going to do a roll call. This is on the motion, what's it? Yeah.
Senate, so this is Senate Bill 35, State Designation, State Natural Sciences Museum, the Natural History Society of Maryland. The House added the megalodon as a state shark and October 1st as Purple Lights Night.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a motion to concur, but discussion, Senator Washington.
So state designation, so the state shark, that's a designation? And so these are all designations, they're not commemorative days or any of the
Correct.
days?
That's correct. Well, Purple Lights Night is actually designating October 1st as Purple Lights Night.
So it's not, they're not the same?
I think that they survive the single subject rule.
Anybody else wants to weigh in? We did have a motion and second. Yes.
With the sponsor of the Senate bill, and he is okay with it as is. And that's why I'm going to move to.
Okay. Well, we have a motion and second. We're going to wait 1 second here. I mean, just, we're going to, somebody's just got to take a vote and, yep. Okay.
It's a
Lamoria,
policy
we're going to go,
It's a policy.
we're going to go around the horn. Yes or no?
Senator Hester? Yes. Senator Hester, yes. Senator Gallion?
Pass.
Senator Gallion passes. Senator Watson?
Yes.
Senator Watson, yes. Senator Attar?
Yes.
Senator Attar, yes. Senator Harris?
How about aye?
Senator Harris, yes. Senator Senator Brooks?
Yes.
Senator Brooks, yes. Senator Carozza?
Yes.
Senator Carozza, yes. Senator Washington? Senator Washington abstains. Senator Simon?
Sure.
Senator Simon is a short yes. Senator Feldman?
Okay, the bill passes.
Yep.
Explain my vote. Since now, we've had so much talk in this committee for, 8 years I've been on it, whether to let certain things pass, other things don't pass. It's been frustrating for a lot of us, myself included. But now that I see that we're just going to let everything on that comes in front of us now, I'm hoping that with my yes vote now, I'll be able to get Christian American Heritage Month when I bring it forward next year, since we're now letting all these on and kind of setting a precedence here. So thank you.
Well, well, can I just say, my preference is that the legislature not have jurisdiction over this. So you may see SB 1 next year being, we should be sending this to a third-party archivist. I think this session, more than any before, has demonstrated that this is not an appropriate place for a political body to be weighing in on these things. So I just put that out there. I think this session made that point. And so, kind of like with Sunday hunting bills, maybe now we can get rid of commemorative days. That's a next session issue. But, okay, the motion passes. And, okay, back to you, Stacy. You got some more coming through the grapevine?
One more, Senate Bill 204, the Civic Excellence Program. It's in the same posture as the House, as passed by the Senate, so the recommendation is to concur.
Okay, motion to concur from Senator Harris, second from the Vice Chair. In favor of the motion concur, raise your hand. Any other loose ends here? Everybody clear desk? The desk is clear. Session is starting in 1 minute. Okay, we have session right now, so at 3:15. So I think for now,